All right, here we are, August 24th, 6:30 p.m., and this is the nicest the day has been all day. I'll be grateful. I'm not going to complain. We didn't get any rain last night, and I got a beautiful third cutting here laying on the ground. I've been waiting to get it put up here all day, hoping we'd had a better day than this, but no sunshine. It's kind of a, wouldn't really say like a humid, like a gross humid day, but definitely there's like a cool stick in the air of moisture. I raked this stuff here last night from 8 o'clock to 11. So really nice, actually. I came out and checked it here at 4:30, and there's just this, like, I don't know, this raggy, not really raggy, but just raggy. There's just this dampness to it. I mean, there's just this, you can really feel the texture of the hay rather than being, crunchy and brittle and the leaves falling off. So, this stuff doesn't really want to shake off even. So what I'm gonna do is we've got the cattle to eat it if I have a ugly third cutting bale. I don't think they're gonna complain. But I'm gonna clean up the headlands here. So we'll get the headlands cleaned up, some odd rows, and along over there. So there's some thinner stuff that always towards the end of the year, not the alfalfa doesn't really catch up, so you get some weeds in it. So we're gonna clean that stuff up so we can small square bale this. This will still be excellent hay. I mean, just look at the color in here. This is gonna be really nice. I just need some sunshine and a little bit of breeze, which tomorrow is supposed to be almost 80 degrees. And with 80 degrees and a breeze, we'll be making dust with the small square baler. So some excellent hay out here, just gotta be patient. Like I said, it's August 24th. We are in the fourth quarter of the hay season here in North Dakota. The weather usually is against you all the time, for that matter, but is usually like a heavy dew every morning now, and we roll into September. This is a third cutting. This field will be done after this. You can see a nice regrowth coming. It's green, starting to get some nice fresh stuff to it. But after we get this field cleaned up, it'll be done. A couple things I want to point out when it comes to doing the alfalfa is, this field, if you look around, there's not a tree in sight. There's no shade, there's nothing blocking this. So once the morning sun comes up there to the east to when it goes down in the west, there is nothing blocking this field from getting the perfect amount of sun, the perfect amount of wind. It's actually on some, we're on a ridge here kind of, there's a rolling hill here. So it's got some sandier ground, so it breathes nice. That's a huge factor. If you got a shelter belt and you're not getting the wind, you're not getting that sun till after a certain time of the day, it's gonna be a lot harder to put up hay, later in the season here with a field like that. Or heavier, lower ground where that dew just likes to sit down in it. There's another factor, right? The other thing I like to point out too is what's the age of the stand? Is it an older field? Is it a younger field? What kind of genetics do you have? Do you have a thin stem variety genetic, or do you have a hardy thick stem variety? Is it more leaf? Is it less leaf? So there's many things that go into being able to get the hay up correctly this late in season. And I don't think a lot of people put those little details into mind when you're knocking this stuff down, because you can knock down some stuff. If it ain't in the right spot, it can be a week before you finally get it baled up this late in the day or a year. You're knocking down hay this time of year. The dew don't burn off till most days 11 o'clock, noonish, and the dew comes back out after 7:30, 8 o'clock. So your drying time is very minimal, and your days are, we're kind of entering another, wetter season towards the end of September here. So usually, your July and early August are dry usually, and then we just started picking up some chances of moisture here again after about a 7-week window of dry weather. So yeah, it's kind of hard to do some of this stuff. I plan on going, I got some fourth cutting I'm going to do here on some other fields starting about September 5th, September 7th. So in about 2 weeks here, or a week and 10 days or so from now, we'll be chomping at the bit to knock that down as soon as possible so we can get that done with. I got a lot of orders for third and fourth cutting small square bales that we have to fill, so that's the only reason I'm kind of gung-ho about this yet. There's 100 acres here to clean up. Then I have another 100 acres I need to knock down starting probably on Sunday. We got some second cutting grass to do. Now grass hay isn't as bad because you can go ahead and get that grass laid wide and flat, and still might take you 3 days on grass, where most, summertime might take you a day and a half, maybe 2. It'll for sure take you 3 days on grass this time of year. So It's just, it doesn't matter what kind of tools you got. You can have the best conditioner in the world, the best cutter in the world. When you're getting that heavy, wet dew in the morning, which you are almost guaranteed most mornings, it just takes forever to dry out. So, yeah, we're gonna do a couple things here quick. I'll just make a quick video here explaining the hay and stuff, but I'm going to reset my baler here. I was doing straw last night, and I have my pressure up high, so I make a very dense, heavier straw bale. Being it's so light and fluffy, I like to make the most of a bale when I'm doing that. I got to turn that down a bit because we're gonna find out what this headland reads out, and a few of these rows are reading out for moisture. That'll give me an idea what tomorrow will be like and how many points we need to drop in moisture. So yeah, I'll show you how to set this baler quick, and then we'll play around with the moisture tester. I just have a John Deere probe. Now in the Vermeer balers, I believe New Holland, I'm not sure if John Deere comes stock from the factory with them or not, but you can have a moisture reader in there. So as the hay is coming in the baler and as it is making a round bale, it'll read the instant moisture, right? It's like instant miles per gallon on your car, right? It's the same factor in there. When that hay is getting fed into that baler, it's instantly telling you, hey, this hay is at 15, 18, 22, whatever it may be. That is a key tool in the hay business, is putting up hay nice and dry, and it'll keep better everything. Round bales, I'm a strong believer in this, and this, I'll let you go after this. 20% and lower in a round bale will be just fine. You might get a little bit of a hot spot if you got a wad in there, but they say anything above, 15% moisture, you're walking on eggshells. Well, I put up a lot of hay back in the day without my preservative kit, mind you, that was 20% and lower, and I've had no issues at all. I'm not making a rock hard bale. I'm not making a dense bale. I can still grab the outsides of the bale. I'll show you that too, because I know this hay will go that, but I know this hay is going to read probably about 24% for sure. But knowing that, I'm still going to do it just to prove a point, and I will come back and show you these bales. They're not going to squat. They're not going to spoil. They're not going to get gross. I'll even show you probably feeding when it comes time to feed the cattle. I had a preservative kit on my old baler. The entire pickup head turned to rust. I know there's different applicators out there, different preservatives, but I know they also make a yeast one. Like it's like it's a powder. You need to mix it with water, and it goes onto the bale, and it actually draws the moisture out. So there's different forms, but I don't know. Sometimes if you're adjusting your density and you let that bale breathe and you're not making a rock, it will breathe out. If you stack correctly, don't tighten them up, don't stack them up high, leave them in a row, leave a gap between them, let those bales breathe. You will be able to get away with having a little higher moisture in that bale. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on all that. I will get going here and we'll make a bale, see what it reads at. Mind you, the headlands may be a little damper because I kind of rope them around a little bit more, kind of grab one of these headlands and clip them up so my square baler can turn around without having a tight squeeze. With that new cutter of mine, I do less headlands, right? So I can turn around a lot quicker and just make more long runs. But the con is when you're raking or turning around the baler and stuff, you're actually kind of shooting yourself in the foot. So it's always better to do more headlands. So this right here is your pressure knob. You take this pliers out. Pliers came out of the old RV. No longer have an RV. So, just throw this on this locking nut here. So, I'm going to take this. We're going to loosen it. Just like that. Loosen that locking nut. We're going to bring it back now. So, counterclockwise is loosening. So, we're going one full turn of that right there. I just watched that Allen wrench hole, and then we're going to retighten it back up here. Okay. Now right here's the gauge we're going to watch. It's like the laws of the bale, right? Light bale, heavy bale. And this gauge here yesterday, I was riding right on that red line. Actually, I was right above that red line, right about there, when I was doing straw. So now I'm thinking it's going to be, if I'm right with my, it's going to be right about in the middle there. We'll see though. Maybe I didn't turn it far enough back. Maybe I turned it too far back. But if I'm right about here, and depending on crop and you know, texture of the crop and what you're baling, if I'm right about there, maybe a little bit to the middle right, it's gonna be about a 1,400 plus pound bale. We got our handy dandy John Deere moisture probe. That's what I run with. Again, I don't have a meat reader in my baler. We'll fire this baler up and see what she does. When I'm running my baler, I usually like to run it right below that 2,000 line. So in all reality, if I had a digital readout, that's probably more like, I don't know, 950, 970, somewhere in there. So I just never like running balers wide open. It's hard on them. So now let's bring it in the crop. Forgive me, my windows are dirty. But right there, if you can see that little green one, I'm just to the right. You can't really see it, but I'm just to the right of center. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now. This bale is dense. I still got the pressure up on it. It's probably a little bit much because I can't get my hand in there. So I could probably go back another turn. I was only 3/4, just to the right, just a little bit. I'd call it maybe 3/4. This bale here is probably, oh, probably about 1,700. No. I'd say it's probably about a 1,650 pound bale. I'd like to have it a little lower, being honest. And I can already tell just because how tight the bale is, I never make my bales as tight. I'll turn it down some more. This is probably a very heavy bale. But watch this. 20% moisture on the dot. That's kind of what I thought it was gonna be, right? I said 20. Maybe I said higher. But anyway, 20% moisture. That ain't gonna break the bank. That's actually a pretty good number in my opinion. But if you're gonna bale at 20, it cannot be this tight. This baler needs to be a lot looser. There we go. Check this spot. 22. Okay, so like I said, you're in that 20s. That's fine with me, but you have to have this thing able to breathe at that rate. Getting a lot of good leaf retention. Everything's looking good. So I'm gonna turn it down some more. I'm gonna take and loosen this right away. Collar's loosened. We're gonna go back again. We're gonna go one more full turn. So we're going one all the way around. Just looking at that gap in between there kind of signified how far out I was last time. Yeah, it's nice and snug. When I say that gap right between those two are kind of what I was talking about. Okay. Now we'll go make another bale. See what happens. Back over here again. Turn the pressure down. Now look at this. I can put my hand inside this bale all the way down, all the way to the. See, we're almost there. I could have left that half a turn because it's still tighter in the core. But look on the outside here. I can grab that and tight. I can put my hands on inside this bale like this. I can grab wads of hay. If I can do that with my hand, all the way to right about here, my thumb. And right there is the core. So not too much further away. So all this out here is able to breathe until right about there it starts to get tight again. But what I'm getting at is that with that being able to breathe like that, that percentage doesn't scare me anymore. Now I can even just tell the way my probe slid in there. God, I laid my fat ass into it. 23.6, 22, 19.4 in the center down there. So we're anywhere from 19 so far to 23 on this bale, like 20.7 there. Hit at 17.5. Guarantee you this bale does not squat. It won't heat. That is external moisture from today's humidity and dew. This hay was cut on Saturday night, okay? It's Wednesday evening. That's Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, okay? It's been sitting here for 96 hours. We've had actually really good weather other than the morning dews, and they've been burning off other than today's cloudy day with the breeze. I like to call it cosmetic moisture. That is the word I use because it's not necessarily in the stem, it's on the stem. And that's kind of what we're picking up on. And now that I got that pressure down a little bit, I could probably go one more notch. And by the way, this is not a light bale either. This bale is still plenty big. I'd say, being that there is a little bit of that moisture in there and that size, it's still a 1,550 pound bale. 1550. So we're gonna turn it down one more time, and I'm making one more bale. All right, here we go. This will be my third bale I've made so far. One over there and two. Here's the third bale. I'm gonna show you something now. Turn that pressure way down. Look at this, all the way through. Handful, handful, handful. Look at the core even, just loosey-goosey. This bale is gonna breathe, look at that, squishy. 23.5. Not nervous in the slightest. I'm gonna say 1,300 pounds on that one right there. Just by the way, I can roll it here and grab it, look at that. You can get the whole thing going. It's not a rock, it's not tight and packed like that. It's able to breathe. That's the only way, that's kind of the bale I was going for the whole time. Got it right on the third try. That's the only way I'm gonna put this stuff up. Like I said, I'm just trying to get the headlands done. I wanna get something done here tonight. I'm not worried if 4 or 5 bales are higher moisture, because like I said, the goal is to get these things to breathe out like this. And they're going for my cows. I mean, it's 4 or 5 bales I'm gonna end up making here. I'll finish out this windrow, and I got one along the headland there. I'll probably make 5 bales in total, and it'll be, well, there goes the sun. It'll be nice to have it done, and I'll bring them to the cows. I'll use them this fall to round up and stuff like that. Be a real treat. So 19 points. They're dry. They're not, there's nothing wet in here. There's no wet hay. This is all dry, nice, clean hay. It just needs some sunshine on it, and it needs a little bit of a breeze through it tomorrow, and we're gonna be a-okay. Right, see this stuff right here? This damper stuff? That stuff is throwing moisture into the hay. It's letting it absorb it. You come out here tomorrow at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, we'll be making dust. It'll be so dry, you're like, damn it, I wish I had just a little more dew glue. It should be some fantastic hay tomorrow. If we get some actual sun, some heat, and a little bit of a breeze, and that's what tomorrow's supposed to be, this stuff should drop about 5 percentage points, which will put me right in that 16-15% moisture for making squares. So I'm excited about that. This field should yield pretty well. There's some spots out here where it gets a little thin and not the best stand for a third cutting, but like I said, this ground is not really our best ground. It's kind of marginal. It's just a big field that we were able to put in. There's some funny drainage spots out here, so take it what you can get, man. But yeah, this here, look at this here. Look how rank and green that looks. This was wet last night when I was raking it. This is crispy dry right now. This is making dust. Look at that, the leaves falling. This looks like it's wet and rank. It's not. That hay is crispy dry. You're losing more leaves over here than I was on that side when I was showing you. So you always second guess, should I cut on Sunday versus Monday night? Should I have raked this night and then done this? Should I have waited to do this? You know, last night I had that, there was storms coming and we were supposed to get rain. Well, I was like, you know what? It's perfect time to rake. 8 o'clock to 11 last night, get it raked, and that way it just gets some wind, because I knew today we were supposed to have wind but not really a lot of sunshine. So I also knew if we flipped it, we weren't going to get bleach. That was the biggest thing. So if I rake these 2 rows together, it's not going to be hot, humid, and gross. We're supposed to have a lot of cloud cover, but with some breeze. Like I said, that little bit of a cool dew in the air, or humidity, I'd say. It was there, but it didn't hurt the hay any. It just didn't let me get baling today, is all it did. But what I'm getting at is that right there was kind of let's just get it off this other path of the ground. Let's get it in 2 rows. Let's get some wind on it. That's gonna help take that stuff there and dry it out. We had a good flip last night, really good flip. So this stuff is gonna be really, really nice come tomorrow. What makes me mad though is that some of this bottom stuff, some of this very, very bottom stuff that's laying on the ground, this was the last row I raked last night at about 11 o'clock. And that's got a little bit, that would have been nice to have that or sun and wind on it today, just to help this stuff out, because to get that air onto the bottom, that's going to be a whole nother job. That's the only thing that makes me nervous. But if it doesn't go for squares tomorrow, I'll just pull the ripcord and I'll round bale this whole thing, and the round bales breathe a lot better. So anyway, we're going to get back to it. I'm going to keep on baling. It was good talking with you guys. Hope you took a few things out of this that made a little bit of sense. I talk in circles, I talk fast at times, but again, I'm just talking to myself here, right? But yeah, we're gonna get the old John Deere back to work, get some stuff cleaned up here, and get home and get some rest. We got a big day tomorrow, and hopefully the hay goes and we drop some points and get some nice squares put up. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.